about to bring his ass to this ring. Give me a hell yeah!
And we're back once again live and in living color. I'm WB Ward and
I am Chip Douglas.
And we're back for another week of SCI Wrestling. Man, we had a big week in professional wrestling.
Huge.
With the pay-per-view that was recently up. But, Mr. Chip,
yes,
what be happening with you, man?
Oh, nothing much. Just enjoying the week. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Got an ex-wife and a TV, and they both work, so life is good.
I think you used that a couple weeks ago.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Fresh material, Bill.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just blow the dust off of it and away I go.
So you know what? I had a interesting week for myself when it comes to wrestling.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of AAA down in Mexico?
AAA, yes, indeed.
They had their...
Oh, wait a minute. You're not talking about cars.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Talking about cars here. AAA is probably the largest wrestling organization in Mexico.
Luchadores.
Lucha Libre.
Lucha Libre.
And they had their WrestleMania of pay-per-views called Triple Mania.
I did hear about that.
And fortunate enough for me, who did not pay the $15 to pay it on to watch it on iPay-per-view.
You cheap bastard.
Yeah, I know. They had some technical difficulties, so they uploaded it for free on YouTube. So I had a great time being able to enjoy watching Triple Mania for absolutely free. Now, to all those people that did buy the pay-per-view, they did get refunded their money, so it wasn't like they were out anything. But it was really cool. It was really cool to be able to watch that, see some, I love Lucha Libre type of wrestling, and I got to see some characters that I haven't seen in a very long time. And even some American stars. Jeff Jarrett was on there.
Did you ever hear the ring announcers ever use the phrase, "Yo quiero por favor JR's barbecue sauce"?
No, I'm there.
Yeah, a little international flavor there.
So, but since we are starting this show, I want to remind everyone that is listening out there, our Twitter page, SCI Wrestling. You can follow us on there. I tweet pretty regularly, so please follow us and enjoy my humor.
And what would that address be, pray tell?
SCI_wrestling. Is where you're going to find us. The actual address is twitter.com/SCI_wrestling. I actually tweeted I thought it was funny, but apparently no one else did.
Okay.
It was, the atomic drop, the most underrated move in professional wrestling history.
The atomic drop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'm the only one that thought that was humorous.
What?
I don't know.
That kind of does fly by me too.
Well, it's where they pick them up and they drop them right on their nuts, on their knee.
Oh.
I mean, if you were to do that to me, I'd rather take that than the body slam.
Oh.
Or, I'm sorry, I'd take the body slam besides that.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So,
excuse me.
It is what it is. I did find some really cool Twitter handles though, like I found someone that does just Bobby Heenan quotes, which is quite,
man, and that
funny.
would be a library of reference material.
Oh man, it's endless. Our YouTube page, SCI Wrestling, and then our Facebook page. Go like us, Squared Circle Insider Wrestling. But big week in professional wrestling besides the pay-per-view and Raw.
Yes.
Did you hear about any wrestling news that happened this week?
Well, I saw something a little earlier that you handed me, and I was not aware of this. What's this about a head writer leaving WWE?
So David Kretzman, and if I misspelled that name, I do apologize if he's listening. He is leaving WWE. He was only there for 6 months.
What was the poop on that? Or did they say?
They really haven't said. He was the head writer of WWE. So he was, I guess you can say, besides Triple H and Vince, he was the top writer.
Now, I'm not trying to start any feathers flying or anything like that. Far be it from me to ever do anything like that. But it has been my experience in corporate America that whenever somebody leaves and they're going on to better pastures, what they say is, so-and-so is now leaving the ranks of XYZ Corporation. We wish him well in his future endeavors as he strives to achieve. And then they mentioned a little bit about what he's going to be doing.
Right.
But whenever they don't say anything other than John is leaving, that kind of makes me think, okay, there is something going on there.
Yeah.
Have you heard any speculation as to a possibility of what's happening?
I mean, I haven't heard any speculation, but I can only assume that somebody up above him wasn't too happy with the creative aspect of what was going on. Which I understand some of it, but they've had some pretty good material. And if he was overseeing that material and approving it.
Well, now here's the kicker. One rumor that I did hear was that a lot of the wrestlers thought his stuff stunk so bad, they were actually changing storylines in the ring during a performance. And that would force all the writers to go right back to the drawing board because as you know, in wrestling, sometimes, especially on live shows like Raw or the pay-per-views, anything can happen that can change the direction of a story.
Right.
And if the wrestlers are so appalled by what was being written and they're in the ring and they're actually changing the direction of the storyline so dramatically that they have to go right back to square one again, if that's what happened, and I'm not saying it is, but if that's what's happened, it could certainly be grounds for probably some career counseling going on, promoting him to the rank of audience member rather than just having him hang around the office all day writing stuff that nobody wants to do.
Well, he was an award-winning soap opera writer. That's where he came from. So,
and that makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that would make sense to put somebody in that kind of position that was in the process of writing soap operas, because this is what professional wrestling is. It's soap opera for men, basically.
Right. So, but speaking of leaving, and I didn't realize this until yesterday, but Matt Stryker was released.
He was struck?
Yeah, he was struck by the WWE.
He struck Stryker.
So now he is available for independent appearances.
I wondered, did they can him or did they just not elect to renew his contract?
They didn't renew his contract.
Okay, because there's a huge difference between those two.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of a single superstar with the exception of probably Taker, whom they just decided, we don't want to renew you right now. And then later on down the road, they say, hey, they pick up the phone and they call him and go, hey, why don't you come on back here?
Right.
But they leave the door open like that.
Oh, they always leave the door wide open. I mean,
Chris Jericho would be a great example of that.
I was thinking Bret Hart.
Bret Hart? Oh, boy, I tell you, that was the longest little vacation I've ever seen, but yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So that was interesting. And I saw another article where ABC's Celebrity Wife Swap,
right,
which this episode's going to air this Sunday, is going to feature two wrestlers.
Really? Who?
Roddy Piper and Ric Flair.
Now they're going to be swapping their wives?
Well, yeah, Ric Flair isn't married, but it's his girlfriend.
Okay.
But yes, so Roddy Piper is going to be with Ric Flair's girlfriend, and Ric Flair is going to be with Roddy Piper's wife.
For people in our age group and younger, this would be kind of like going to an antique car show.
This is going to be great.
and looking at the Model Ts.
This is just going to be I'm interested.
Now, I haven't seen Ric Flair's girlfriend. I would imagine she's probably like 16, 17, something like that.
If that.
She's probably a lot younger.
She's young. I'm sure she is.
But Roddy Piper's wife, I can't speak for her, but I did hear a story one time about Roddy. He's getting up in age, and he was backstage and he broke wind and it came out as a puff of dust. So,
I saw him on the episode of Storage Wars.
Really?
Yeah. He was given a accurate price of a kilt, which makes a lot of sense. But it was a celebrity attraction, I guess, to him being wearing the kilt his whole gimmick career. And is he actually Scottish?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't know what his ethnicity is, but I don't know. He's probably. I think he was born in the United States. He may have some Scottish in his background, but.
Right.
That of course, like any other character, it just doesn't really matter. They say, okay, you need to be Scot. So we're going to put you in a dress and send you out to the ring. Now, for all of you Scottish people, don't send me a letter. Yeah. I know it's a kilt. I know it's not a dress.
We have him on auto delete.
It's not a dress. It's just one piece of fabric you wrap around your waist and let Mother Nature take its course.
So I do have some pretty cool plans this weekend, though. I'm going to check out independent wrestling, I believe, this Saturday. which I'm excited about.
That's awesome. Can you name the promoter? Or
it's Steel Rage, I believe is what it's called. Colt Cabana's going to be there, so it's a cool thing I'm going to go see. Are you ready for the tweet of the week, though, right quick?
Yes.
Before we end this segment?
Yes.
Al Snow tweeted this a couple days ago.
Oh, really?
Did you know 69% of people can find something dirty in every sentence?
I think I could raise that to 70. but you know, just the fact that 69 people can do it right there alone, you have an opportunity in that particular sentence anyway.
Oh, that's great.
Finding something dirty. By the way, you're going to check out independent wrestling today, and with any luck at all, I'm going to have some independent wrestling this afternoon. That's my code word for I'm going on a first date. Okay. And no, I will not tell who the promoter is of this.
You sure?
No. Stick around. We have more SCI Wrestling coming up. We'll be reviewing Payback.
Hey, Mom. Why is the sky blue? Why don't animals talk? Why do dogs have wet noses? Why is an 11 pronounced 1T1?
Kids ask a lot of questions.
Why do I have a belly button?
But you don't have to know every answer.
Why is the ocean salty?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
Why are there 50 states?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
Why is pizza round?
They just need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
If you enjoy Ward's Daily Almanac on the radio, chances are you'd love Ward's Daily Almanac in book form. Now, WB is working on this, but needs your help. To donate, search for Ward's Daily Almanac on Kickstarter.com or go to WBWard.com and click on the word Kickstarter. There you can watch a video about the project and learn about great rewards for giving. That's Kickstarter.com and search for Ward's Daily Almanac or WBWard.com and click Kickstarter.
Okay, we're back for segment 2 of CSI Wrestling for this week. I love that music. I was working at a radio station in Texas when this song first came out by the Cult of Personality. Oh, gosh, I love that stuff. Of course, that is the immortal music of the one and only
CM Punk.
Absolutely.
Who made his triumphant return this past Sunday.
By the way, your prediction was an onion skin away from being correct on that.
It was close. It basically happened the next night.
And he did indeed sever his ties with Paul
Heyman.
Paul Heyman, thank you. And by the end of Raw, Brock Lesnar did come out.
And I was hoping they would do this angle at some point, doing the CM Punk Lesnar angle, but I really didn't think they were going to do it this soon. I thought they were going to do maybe Curtis Axel. Yeah. Since he's the new kind of new Heyman guy. Yeah. But then again, you do have SummerSlam right around the corner. Money in the Bank, which is the next pay-per-view, is a huge pay-per-view for them. So they're really trying to build Money in the Bank to be to withhold the standards of Payback. Because I'll go on record and I watched Payback. I was able to watch it on a certain website.
Did you get that free just like you did with the other one?
Am I at liberty to say that I did watch it for free?
I wouldn't say
so
that.
No, I didn't. But let's just say I was able to watch it.
Okay.
And it was a awesome pay-per-view.
Wow.
Awesome pay-per-view. CM Punk and Jericho was a good match. I do think the WrestleMania match from a couple years ago was better. But as far as this match, still a good, solid match. CM Punk was way over like he should be in Chicago.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good match. It was great leading back into Raw, and it was a good little angle with Lesnar. Lesnar kind of doing the same thing they did with John Cena when he came back last year? Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year.
Brock Lesnar only seems to have like one or two moves, and somehow or another he stretches that into a whole show. Boy, after a while, that gets mighty old.
Oh, I know.
That gets mighty old. He doesn't have a neck. If you've ever seen that guy's shadow, he looks like a thumb. He does. He looks like a thumb.
Since he's came back, he's adapted this whole new style of wrestling, which he's incorporated, a lot of the UFC, that he was able to learn mixed martial arts, and man, he's a And I mean, he's one of those wrestlers now where you have to kind of look at his matches and go, man, is this really fake? You know, because some of his punches that he throws, and I mean, they look pretty legit.
I bet you a lot of the wrestlers kind of hesitate a little when they get into the ring with him.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's probably why only 2 people have done it so far, Triple H and John Cena, and I'm sure those are 2 guys where, you know, they could say, you know, go ahead and hit me a good one, but don't do it too many times.
And you know, when I saw CM Punk's face on Raw when Brock came out, and of course, you know, with the storyline, he's supposed to be kind of disgusted to see him, but it was hard to not read into the facial expression of CM Punk when Brock Lesnar came out on the stage of CM Punk going, "Oh no!"
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah, he had that look
crap.
like this is not good.
Oh crap!
Which, you know, and I was kind of give and take on that one.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what is that the right face to have? Since he is a Heyman boy. You know, I figured, you know, maybe he should be a little bit more excited.
Now, speaking of Paul Heyman,
go ahead.
Honestly, when it comes to knowing that Paul Heyman is on Raw or is on SmackDown or on a pay-per-view, are you likely to tune in because you want to see Paul Heyman?
I am a Paul Heyman guy.
Okay. And a lot of people are. Yeah. I am to a huge degree. I think he's great on the mic. He's a good entertainer. However, I think, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but this angle with Axel, I think is going to be Paul Heyman's exit music from WWE for a while.
No, I hope not.
Because they're trying to polish a dog turd. And you can shine it up all you want to, but it's still a dog turd.
I mean, they're building them. I mean, they did put the IC title on them.
Yep, they sure did.
So we'll see where it goes from there.
It's almost like they're trying to force feed it on the public. And I'm sorry. I don't think that's right. Not, quite frankly, I don't think the public's going to buy this.
It'd be interesting to see. I mean, they, you know, it's just like the Fandango character.
But then again, my favorite color is peanut butter. What do I know? And yeah, Fandango, there's a great example.
Yeah.
Now, people have really eaten up his ring music. Gosh, now I wish I would have queued his music up for this show. But
I mean, his ring music got over more than he did.
That's true. That's true.
But now he got concussion, so he's out.
Is he?
So it'd be very interesting to see if he has any kind of credibility coming back. Because he was starting to lose some momentum.
Yes.
Ever since WrestleMania.
Well, you know, and when they bring out these wrestlers that basically have one angle and one story only, he comes out and he dances.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's really all he does. He's a mediocre wrestler at best. Brock Lesnar, the only reason why people keep coming back to him is because he has this phenomenal size and girth that just kind of makes him a wonder just to look at.
Right.
But if you think back in the history of wrestling, the guys that really only had a very limited, personality and a very limited gimmick, they didn't tend to last very long. And I kind of have a feeling that he and, also, Axel, I think we'll go down that same road.
Well, Lesnar's a special attraction.
Okay. What else we got on this segment?
Oh, and let me say how happy and excited I am that Mr. Pay-Per-View, Rob Van Dam, is coming back to WB.
Oh, yeah. Now there's a dude.
He's one of my all-time favorites. I've enjoyed his work ever since ECW. And he's been in TNA for the past couple of years, which I know you really don't keep up with.
That's true.
Which is completely understandable. But
what does TNA stand for? I know what I like for it to stand for, but that's not it.
Total Nonstop Action.
Oh, okay. You see, that's why I won't tune in. Because I saw TNA and at first I thought it was a pay-per-view in the 300 channel series on cable. And I thought, well, maybe I'll watch that. Then I found out what it was and I went, oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Still not bad. They have some good talent. But, you know, Rob Van Dam is an incredible performer. It's going to be really exciting. He's coming back at Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Which is, home of ECW. So he's going to be
and
over there.
And the home of the very first bank in the United States.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if they will take that angle.
I don't think they will.
Not the first bank, the first mint.
First Mint?
First Mint.
I don't think they've read Ward's Daily Almanac to get that information.
They need Ward's Daily Almanac. By golly, they need to subscribe to that. But I put their wrestlers in the lineup. I mean, come on. Come on.
So RVD coming back is very exciting. But one angle that I was so impressed with was Mark Henry.
Really?
Because I handle the Twitter for most part for the show.
Right.
And I saw the tweets that he was tweeting out on Sunday night.
Uh-huh.
And
were you fooled?
I was absolutely fooled.
I have to admit, I have to give Mark Henry some great kudos on his acting.
That retirement speech was incredible.
He had tears.
Yes.
I mean, wow.
I believed it.
Wow.
I believed it. I was bamboozled. And if you were to tell me that Mark Henry and CM Punk were going to have a feud, I'd be like, okay, good. I can change the channel. But now I'm legitimately excited.
The idea of him coming back in that capacity, I think, is attractive. However, I got to tell you, my dream match would be to see Mark Henry going up against Brock Lesnar.
That would be a good match.
I think that would be awesome.
It'd be fun to watch.
I wonder if Mark Henry might shy down from that.
I don't know.
Because you know Brock would come at it from the aspect of, I've got to turn up the heat on this a little.
Well, there's always the rumors of Mark Henry and Big E Langston going to have some kind of feud sometime.
Okay, let's move on back here with some of the recap. What about let's see, Dolph versus Rio? I love the idea that Dolph is coming up as a face now.
And see, we totally destroyed this match last week, saying that it was going to be a horrible match, and we did predict it.
Yes,
or at least we predicted what we would like to see, which is Del Rio be heel and Dolph Ziggler become face.
Now
and that happened.
All is right with the universe now.
And that happened in the match. It was wonderful, wonderful. Probably, if I had someone to tell me last week that this would be the best match on the pay-per-view, I would have thought you were crazy. But in my opinion, it was the best match on the pay-per-view.
Really?
Yep. Hands down.
Really?
The crowd made that match what it was worth.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Well, I'll be darned. I just saw this. Hell has frozen over. I'll be. Okay. Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just, the heel turn on Del Rio was done perfect. And you could it was like watching the Stone Cold Bret Hart WrestleMania match all over again.
Wow. Now that speaks a lot.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that heel turn and face turn. So yeah, I mean, big props to the writers. I hope the guy that wrote that angle isn't the guy that's leaving. But yeah, I mean, awesome angle.
You know, with the Cena versus Ryback, we both accurately predicted that Cena was going to come out ahead on this. Well, at least I predicted that, wasn't that yours?
Well, I predicted it, but I predicted it like the correct order.
Oh, I see.
You said 2-0. You said that we were going to see the ambulance.
Don't take this away from me. You know, my record on predictions is not very good. I mean, I got this right. So
I love your creative mind.
Let me enjoy it.
I love it.
I do have to admit, I was very pleasantly surprised. Now, I didn't see the pay-per-view, but I did see the still photographs. John Cena fooled me a little bit here, as I had a feeling he was going to put Ryback in the ambulance. What I didn't expect was through the ceiling. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
It was close. It was very close. It was a decent match. I think now it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Ryback, since they've kind of killed his momentum. You got to keep him as a heel. I could probably see him maybe feuding with some mid-carders, perhaps maybe Sheamus. But it's just hard to now believe that Ryback will be able to build himself back up to that main event level.
Looking back on that, if you look at it through hindsight, when you saw Cena body slam Ryback through the roof of the ambulance, did the ambulance appear to be gimmicked? Because it had to have been gimmicked. Or did it look pretty realistic? Or
it didn't look bad, but yeah, you could tell that it was planned.
Okay, all right.
It was planned.
CM Punk versus Lesnar. Did we even predict this?
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think we both predicted CM Punk on this one.
Okay, and you told me that he went over pretty well on that.
Oh, he went way over.
Okay, now
wait, hold on.
Okay.
CM Punk did Jericho. He's going to fight Lesnar. Yeah, I kind of, yeah.
Okay, CM Punk did Jericho.
For
that's
the people in the wonderful world of audience, I do these little sheets that give us a little cheats.
Yes.
And yeah, I did a little typo.
Yes, you did.
It happens.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because it sure saved me the embarrassment of having to point out to the world that you screwed up.
Yeah,
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know we spend a lot of time preparing for this show. We work very hard. We put everything together. So I want you to know from the very bottom of my heart, the screw-ups that you hear on this show are the finest quality screw-ups money can buy.
I mean, we at least spend 10 minutes on this stuff.
At least, at the very least. Never let it be said I wouldn't do the least I could do.
And I gotta bring up this match.
Okay.
AJ and Caitlyn. We predicted it correct.
Yeah. That we did. And by the way, how was AJ's butt?
I plead the Fifth Amendment.
Okay, yeah, you're married.
I am married.
Okay, I got that.
It was there.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. From what I hear, she's grown attached to that.
But in this match, did you see highlights of the pay-per-view?
I saw some of it, yes.
Yeah, and Caitlyn was just horrible.
Was she?
I mean, this whole breaking down and crying. I mean, it's kind of like Tom Hanks in League of Their Own. You know, there's no crying in wrestling. I mean, come on.
Well, now back up to Mark Henry.
Yeah, but he was retiring.
That's true.
I mean, he was in this sport for, geez, I mean, he's been around for almost 15 years in WWE.
And yet he was able to shed the tear.
He was able to shed a tear.
Yeah, that's because he was wearing shorts. He was wearing a pair of John Cena's shorts, and that would make anybody cry.
And that suit.
Oh, he looked dapper.
He looked really good in that suit.
He did. The man looked pretty dapper. Quite frankly, I didn't know they made that much material.
Now, one thing I do want to bring up is, and I think they should. I don't know if they will, but we'll see. Are they going to put the title on him?
I think so.
I do too.
I honestly think so.
I hope they do.
In spite of what I was talking about last week about Cena being the cash cow for the WWE, and he will continue to be. But by golly, you know, Henry has worked very hard for this company for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
I remember what I think was his debut appearance on there, where he came out and he actually picked up a car. And when you hear him in the ring doing his promos, one of the things that he talks about, or at least he has talked about in the past, was how many years he's worked hard in that company, and he always gets looked over and gets stepped on. And I can't help but feel that there's a certain amount of realism squeaking out in his voice at that time, because you got to know, anytime you've been with a company that long, working as hard as an individual like Mark Henry has so far up until now, your claim to fame was sleeping with Mae Young. You know, there's got to be a certain amount of disappointment in that.
He has gone where many men do not want to go.
Oh, you are not kidding. Man, my, oh my. All due respect to Mae Young.
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure she could whip our butts.
You know, I love looking at a Model T, but I certainly wouldn't want to drive one.
But yeah, he deserved it. I mean, I think that promo alone won it for him. And I think it'd be great for them to put the title on him at Money in the Bank, and let him ride into SummerSlam as the champion. And I don't know if they really should have John Cena versus Mark Henry at SummerSlam. I mean, if they want to, sure. But even if they do, I don't think they should have Henry win at Money in the Bank and then have him to lose at SummerSlam. I think he should be able to ride it out for a little bit.
You know, I was just sitting here thinking, how would this be for a tag team match? On one end of the ring, you have Mark Henry and Big Show. On the other end of the ring, you have Brock Lesnar and Brodus Clay.
Why on earth did you put Brodus Clay in there?
I don't know. Big? Just because of his size. You talk about having to reinforce the ring. Oh, and of course, the special guest referee for that match would have to be the great Khali.
Oh, jeez.
I mean,
could he even get down to count to three? He'd have to do it standing up.
I would just be interested in knowing if he can count to three. That in itself would be a major feat.
That's a good tweet. I think I'm gonna tweet that.
You take all the credit you want for that one, my friend. I don't have any problem with that whatsoever.
Ward is quoted to say.
Oh man, you know, if any of these wrestlers hear any of my comments on here, I'm going to be put on a list that I don't want to be on.
Yeah. Our future guests are dwindling by the episodes.
Well, they're more than welcome to come on and retort my vicious pack of facts.
We would love to debate with them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. As long as they're far, far away.
Yeah, we'll do that strictly on the telephone.
Absolutely.
And oddly enough, I own a steel metal chair. And I'm not afraid to use it either, by golly. I could take out Big Show,
You think so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can, even with my cane, I have to walk with a cane, and I think I could still outrun him.
Well, I'll definitely be watching your back.
Because that's all you'll be able to see.
That's all I'll be doing.
That's all anybody can see. Okay, we still have more of SCI Wrestling coming your way. We're going to be taking a look at some of the greatest factions of all time. Stick around, your favorite wrestlers and more coming up on SCI Wrestling.
Imagine me, a dog, moving in with a human. I didn't know how it would work. Turns out, my human's pretty entertaining. For instance, every time I give my human his ball, he throws it as far as he can. And I'm like, dude, that's your ball. So I go get it. But he just throws it. Again. I gotta say, though, the more he does it, the funnier it is. I love my human.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
If you enjoy Ward's Daily Almanac on the radio, chances are you'd love Ward's Daily Almanac in book form. And WB is working on this, but needs your help. To donate, search for Ward's Daily Almanac on Kickstarter.com or go to WBWard.com and click on the word Kickstarter. There you can watch a video about the project and learn about great rewards for giving. That's Kickstarter.com and search for Ward's Daily Almanac or WBWard.com and click Kickstarter.
Oh man, the golden sounds, and I mean the golden sounds.
Yes.
One of the greatest rock stars of all time, and it's been made into the ring music for the NWO. And that stands for?
New World Order.
Yep. You would think they would have come up with something more creative than that because of the fact that's just, a term that we use for political reasons. But
Now,
it works.
Now, there was a movie that incorporates the NWO, and I can't remember it, though.
It incorporates this NWO?
It just the saying New World Order.
Oh. Yeah, and of course, back when the Occupy movement was going on, they talked about the New World Order with that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they talked about that a lot.
You would know.
But of course, this particular New World Order was the invasion of WCW.
Yep.
Was it? You really couldn't call it the invasion, though. That wasn't it. The invasion
well,
was from WWE.
You can call it an invasion because of the fact that it was built up as Razor Ramon and Diesel were coming from WWF.
That's true.
Or at the time,
was
WWF.
F. Yeah, it was F.
To take over WCW. So yeah, you can say it was an invasion.
Yeah, it certainly was.
So.
We got this particular segment. We're going to be talking about factions. Groups of wrestlers, not fractions.
Not fractions.
Not fractions.
Not half of a wrestler. Not Hornswoggle.
We will do fractions at some point when we get into midget wrestling.
Yes.
But this time it's going to be factions. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's the difference between a faction and a tag team?
Well, with a tag team, when I think factions, you gotta think. I realistically think it's 3 or more.
Okay.
That's how I encompass a faction. A tag team is just two individuals. So that's what separates a faction from a tag team.
Okay. Now, who are your top 3 factions?
Now, let me do my disclaimer here. Now, I built this based off of longevity, titles, and impact on professional wrestling.
Okay.
All right. So number 3, DX.
DX. Okay.
DX.
Yes. Absolutely. A great faction.
I mean, they were huge in the Attitude Era. With Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and China starting it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Shawn Michaels retired, encompassing X-Pac and, the New Age Outlaws into it was awesome. And what really won them over with me was when they invaded WCW, with the Tank.
Oh,
and,
that was an awesome
just
episode.
Great,
Yeah.
awesome. Number 2, the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
Which
I knew that would make your list.
Yes. I mean, and to be honest, I fight with it being number 1, just because it is my favorite faction of all time.
Okay.
Ric Flair, Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson's being one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, period.
Mm-hmm.
Just having him in it is amazing. But, just being around for that long. I mean, they started in the mid to late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to go all the way up to about 98. So we're talking about 10 to 12 years of the Horsemen being around. Yeah, they have some different characters, but for the most part, Ric Flair being the the head honcho of it, and then Arn Anderson always being the enforcer of it. But they are always able to develop talent and do a good job of it.
I've always thought of the Horsemen as being the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, because I can actually see, and I'm not, trying to elevate them to that kind of status. But if you're talking about professional wrestling, the three big members of that, of course, Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, and, what's his doofus?
Which doofus?
I don't remember.
Tully Blanchard?
Okay, that'll work. But I could see that in a stone sculpture.
Yeah.
And that could actually be considered the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, J.J. Dillon probably, because J.J. Dillon was always around.
Yeah, but he wasn't a wrestler.
Yeah,
he was part of the Four Horsemen, but, he wasn't really a wrestler.
He was the fifth.
Yeah, the fifth wheel, the professional wrestling version of the third wheel.
So you ready for my number one?
Your number one is...
And it's kind of sad because we did the theme song, but it has to be the NWO. They were able to revolutionize the sport of wrestling, in my opinion. They were able to make the Monday Night Wars credible, and being able to have the ability to, you don't know what's going to happen on Nitro from week to week. You don't know who's going to join the NWO week to week. Now, it did get to be too much when half the roster is part of the NWO.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
Yeah, it got to be too much. And when they did the branching off of several different branches of NWO, the NWO, Hollywood, NWO, Wolfpack, NWO, little people versions. I mean, it got to be too much. But for what they did in the time span that which they have done it was absolutely phenomenal and will go down in history.
One thing that I have to really admire Ted Turner for was in the lines of entertainment. When you're looking at your competition, the tendency is to kind of ignore the competition, at least publicly.
Right.
You never mention them. You never say anything about them. You don't give them any extra promotion than what's necessary. However, that being said, Ted Turner took the exact opposite approach on here, and he saw WWE as being or at the time WWF, he saw them as being a direct competition, and he didn't shy away from addressing it directly. So when he got these people over from WWF, he actually made that as part of the storyline, which was, I think, is pretty admirable because it was a very risky move. In the long run, it did not pay off for him, but at least on the short term, it most certainly did pay off for him. Okay.
Your top three.
My top three.
Yep.
I have none.
What?
I am coming to you from an angle of total surprise because on my list of top three factions, I only have one.
Okay.
One and one only.
Okay.
The Brood. The Brood
right.
is my absolute favorite faction of all time, and nobody else even comes close. Not DX, not the NWO. The Brood for me was number one. Not necessarily because of what they did, but because they brought one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and that would be Edge. And he did a phenomenal job in performance on that. Other than that, my whole thing about the Brood was the way they entered the auditorium. I loved the effect of them rising up through flames.
That was cool.
That was an awesome appearance. And I think it was outside of The Undertaker. I think it was probably about one of the best entrances I have ever seen in professional wrestling. Now, if you were to ask me who were the members of the Brood, I could only tell you the one. I could only tell you Edge. As wrestlers, they did not make enough of a lasting impression on me where I would actually know their names outside of Edge, because Edge definitely made an impression on everybody. Christian Christian the other member?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and a guy named Gangrel.
Gangrel. Yeah, Gangrel. I do remember him.
Yeah, but Christian was with
Christian was part of the Brood? Really? Yeah. And I guess what really got me on Edge, which made me an Edge fan right off the bat, was his smile. He had the most evil smile.
That's a good smile. Yeah.
He had the most evil smile I've ever seen in my life. And the way he would incorporate that into his character, it was just very, very impressive to me. So for me, I only have one top faction at all, and that would be the Brood.
Okay. Are you ready for some factions that you might have forgot of?
Okay.
And for very good reason.
Okay.
The Union.
The Union. You're right. I have completely forgotten about that.
The LWO.
The LWO? What did that stand
Latino World Order.
Oh, Lord.
The Job Squad, which was one of Al Snow's.
I remember the Job Squad.
And Misfits in Action.
I have no clue who you're talking about there.
Hugh Morris was the leader of that, and his name was General Hugh G. Reaction. And I am not even joking. So,
well, I've heard of some stiff rolls, but
yeah. So
he was an upstanding man.
Yep. So you want to remind everyone? Twitter?
Go ahead. Go for it.
Twitter, SCI_Wrestling. YouTube, SCI Wrestling. Facebook, Squared Circle, Insider Wrestling. Please go like us, follow us, watch us. We will be on iTunes and Stitcher Radio soon. Give us time, though, but for now, go to YouTube and Facebook.
And we'll see you next week, right here on SCI Wrestling.